I am so tickled that you would take time to come out. It shows that you really care about your country as I do, and boy, have we got a mess. And so I'm tickled that you would give us some time to give us your thoughts and ideas this morning about how we can all work together to get out of it. I do apologize for the facility. We were set to be elsewhere, but the roof was a problem, and so they moved us over here. And ladies, thank you for accommodating us.
Hey,
and they have.
Sorry, it's so cramped.
No, we're going to just make the best of the situation. They've made coffee and iced tea for y'all. If you want something, let us know. Somebody's coming in there if you want to get them a seat. What I thought we might do is, I was trying to give you all something to do while we waited for the crowd to come in, so I passed around a little quiz. What I might start with is, I'll give you the answers to those in case there's some that have stumped you. We're going to get you a chair in just a minute. We're challenged here with our location. We'll get to the answers. I might give you a quick review about what's going on in Washington right now, where we've been, and then I'm going to turn it over to all of you to give me any thoughts and ideas about how we can work our way out of this mess in D.C. On the exam, if you've played with us, you can note that defense is 19% of our budget. Medicare and Medicaid is 23%. Interest on the public debt is 6%. Foreign aid is 2%. Social Security is 20%. Unemployment compensation is 3%. Earmarks portfolio spending is 0.4%, and welfare is 4%. On the second question, we have hit a point where our debt is now 100% of our gross domestic product. Number 3, we borrow 40 cents on every dollar. Question 4, waste, fraud, and abuse. You know, we hear about that's going to pay for every program we've ever wanted, when in fact it really is estimated to be the lowest number, $100 billion. So that doesn't stretch too far. Question 5 is false. Question 6 is 70%. Question 7 is 51%, number 5. And then question 8 is 70. And I might add, today, our average life expectancy is 79. So it's gone up 9 years, if that's helpful. Question 9 is 31%. And question 10 is 3. That's the first one there. So hopefully you learned a little something with that little exercise. And we're hopefully getting everybody in now. We'll go ahead and get started. I might note, in addition to thanking the gals for having us here, I've got 2 staff members with me. My chief of staff, Pat Leopold, and Brandon. Oh, is he getting chairs? Brandon, you'll all have to see the big smile on his face. He got married Saturday. So he's this guy. I've been talking about you. Give him a round of applause. Yep, he tied the knot on Saturday. Little sucker. I think we'll go ahead and get started. As you all know, things are a bit of a challenge in Washington right now. We're in a divided government situation, unlike we were at the first Congress I was there. when, you know, we had the Democrat in the White House, the control of the House and the Senate. Now we've still got a Democrat in the White House, Senate, Democrats control, and the House, the Republicans control. So it's a bit of a challenge to get people together to agree on anything. What you've seen a lot in Washington is the House kicking things out. They've been waiting a long time to get some things done. Passed a budget earlier this year, cut about $6 trillion out of this budget that we have, sent it to the Senate, and they killed it. I think that was probably a straight party line vote. Just recently, of course, we have dealt with the debt ceiling issue, and again, there's not a lot of common ground between the two chambers and the White House, and so we ended up cutting probably about $2.4 trillion out of the budget in a couple different tranches. Put a requirement to have a vote on a balanced budget amendment for the first time in 15 years. That was the last time we've had a vote on that, was 15 years ago, where it failed in the Senate by 1 vote, passed the House. And then it, of course, didn't have any tax increases in it. So that's what we just dealt with last week. We are having a select committee act as in an attempt to come up with maybe additional cuts or design it in a different way. A vote on what they come up with will happen sometime between November 23rd and December 23rd. I will just tell you, I'm not overly optimistic that that group will come up with anything any different than what we've already talked about, because there are just different ideologies in Washington right now. And so my sense is what we have before us today is probably where we'll end up. And so with that, what I'm really here to learn is what is on your mind, what do I need to be focused on, do you have any advice and counsel on helping us get out of this, something perhaps that the folks in Washington haven't thought about. You know, unlike some, I don't believe the genius of America is in Washington. I think this is the genius of America, so you all probably have thoughts and ideas that no one has thought about. That's why I've got Pat and Brandon here to take down your ideas. The guy with the tape recorder is from the Democrat Kansas Party, so he will be looking for the gotcha moment, so smile pretty, okay? All right, the floor is yours. Tell me what ideas that you have. And what's your name?
John Fletcher.
Hi, John.
I've seen you before.
Yep.
This airport deal over at Osage City. Why do we need it? And where we got the money, but don't we try to save money in the federal?
Wouldn't that be state?
No, it's a grant.
No, it's FAA.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the last time you was going to look into it that we met.
Okay.
And I don't care because I'm an old man. But there's a lot of retired elderly people in our little village. We don't have any industry anymore. Canville's closed, and that plastic from Canada's closed, or just will be.
Right.
And why we need a multi-million dollar airport, I don't know. And we read in papers and on TV that the AAA is going to stop this stuff. Now, why is not ours being done that way?
Yeah.
Now, Mrs. Jenkins, I spend money with an attorney, and I'm not even in the city, but I'm going to pay the taxes, and it's going to be a lot. And we don't need any more taxes.
Right.
What they want to do is extend it another, to make it a
Half a
mile,
mile.
not just a half a mile. And they're
It's
taking property.
It's
six different landowners.
it's the local local city government or the county government must have requested that at some point. The money, my understanding, came from the stimulus bill that she would have, which she opposed, which was Barack Obama's stimulus. That's where the money came from, and the locals applied for it. As far as how
That's been a long time ago.
No, this was set up years ago. It wasn't anything to do with the booth.
Okay.
Well, giving money back is never the issue. The harder part is cutting something. So if that's the will of the local people, we will. I mean, I'm sure we can work with the local official. Do you know if your local officials support it?
It isn't the way of local people. This thing was hatched up behind closed doors. We had a new city manager, a shave tail, and he's no longer with us. But I think one day he looked in these files and, oh, here's something I can do for Old Sage City. It'll put a plum in my hat.
Okay.
And so he dug this up. It was in the 80s, and they voted it out.
So do the current local officials support it?
No,
Everybody
it isn't going to
opposes
be a local thing. It's going to be the whole county paying the taxes.
I'm just wondering if do we have anybody from
city or the county?
City or the county representing it? Yeah.
Ms. Jenkins, I'm Ed Durans. I'm a council member at Osage City.
Okay, here we go.
And something on this aspect, it was voted in. 1974 was originally the first time that they had a vote on whether people wanted an airport. And I myself, in 1974, voted for the airport because at that time, Glenn Lafferty owned the property in question, some of the property in question that was going to be bought to implement this airport. And he offered, he'd sold some ground when they put in Melbourne Reservoir, and he offered to give this ground to the city free of charge so he could get a tax break on his money. The city did not take this money. It was more or less left on the back burner. And in times since, we got several city managers, and they see some way of, like he said, buffering their resume. Oh, we're going to jump on this airport. And I asked this gentleman here, Brandon, I asked him about whether the grant was actually approved, whether it's sitting there. He's going to check for me, because I'm a council member, I'm concerned about it. Our portion of this allegedly is 5% of this $4 million grant. And we've heard that the grant was there, but I haven't seen anything in writing. And my concern is, at the present, our current airport is losing money. I know that the Topeka airport is losing money, and I don't think that the city of Osage City is smart enough to build a $4 million airport and expect to make money. I don't understand where the job part's coming from or anything like this. And this is, well, I'm concerned about it. I'm kind of checking into it.
With this, as the city,
I can't take sides, allegedly being a council member, but there's a lot of opposition against it. The people that's got the ground out there, they're opposed to selling the ground, and I can understand that, because I heard that the price offered for ground isn't what it should be for taking somebody's ground.
Okay. Well, Brandon's going to look into it right now.
Yes.
If we can get Wi-Fi and an answer here before we leave today, we'll let y'all know.
Yeah. I'm Sharon Larson, and I serve on planning and zoning in Osage.
Okay.
Hello, Ed. The money is there, and the 5%.
Have you already received the money? Is
No,
it in?
no, it's just this nebulous thing.
Okay.
My problem with it is that if you have an FAA sanction and it's upgraded, then you have to have a pretty permanent traffic controller. Do you know what traffic controllers make? And I think the city would have to come up with that. Right now we can fly in, double engine planes and things like that, and that's great. We've got, flying farmers and ranchers and people coming in. But our airport can handle that. Yeah. It's just that, the dream is just lovely if you have industry that pulls it in. But our industry has